When something breaks on a Linux system, the answer is almost always in the logs. But most beginners don't know where to look or what to trust. In this video, I'll show you the simple, correct way to check the logs without guessing, without memorizing paths, and without feeling overwhelmed. We'll start with the easiest working approach and build confidence step by step. If you would like to follow along, there's a link to Troubleshooting node in the video description. Now let's go to the terminal. Logs are plain text records of what your system and services are doing. They tell you what started, what stopped, and what failed. You do not need to read every log, you only need to look in the right place. On modern Linux systems, the main place to check logs is the system journal. journalctl is the built-in tool for reading system logs on most modern Linux systems. It shows logs from the operating system and from services like SSH, networking, and web servers. This is where you should start. Each line shows the date and time, the system or the services, and a short message describing what happened. By default, this opens in a scrollable view. You can move down with the down arrow, you can move up with the up arrow, and you can quit by pressing Q. If a service had stopped working overnight, this is where you come to confirm when it stopped and why. Most of the time, you only really care about what just happened. Instead of scrolling through everything, you can jump to the most recent entries. And you do that by using journalctl-e. E means go to the end. You'll be placed at the bottom of the log automatically. This saves time and keeps you focused on only the current issues. When a user reports it stopped working 5 minutes ago, this is where you would look first. And sometimes you want to watch logs as something happens. This is useful when restarting a service or testing a change. And you can do that by using journalctl and a -f. F means follow. New log entries will appear as they happen, and to stop, you simply hit Ctrl-C. For example, you can restart a service in one terminal and watch the logs in another to confirm that it started clearly. Logs are most useful when you filter them. Instead of reading everything, you focus on just one service, and you do that by doing journalctl-u for unit, and then specify the unit, for example SSH. And I have to use the sudo command for this. I'm going to sudo journalctl-u for unit, and then the unit SSH. This shows only logs related to the SSH. If SSH is failing, this immediately narrows down the problem. Time filtering can also help keep logs manageable. You don't need yesterday's logs for a problem you're having today. And you do that by doing journalctl --since, and then inside of quotation marks, the time period. I'm going to do 10 minutes ago. And only logs from the last 10 minutes appear. I could also use today, yesterday, if I spell it right, and any other specific date you may need to use. When troubleshooting a scheduled job or automated task, this can help confirm whether it ran or not. The number one biggest mistake I always see beginners make is trying to cat log files directly instead of using journalctl. This floods the screen and makes logs harder to read. If you use journalctl instead, you can parse out the logs like I've showed you previously. The second biggest mistake I always see beginners make is ignoring time context. You should always ask when did the problem happen, and then filter your logs by time first. The third biggest mistake I've always seen beginners make is restarting services without checking logs. Logs should help guide your actions, not the other way around. So if somebody says a service is not working, you don't automatically go and restart the service. You first go use journalctl -u for unit, and then that service name, whether it's SSH. Yes, you have to use sudo in front of it. Whether it's SSH, maybe Apache. I don't have it on this machine, so there's not going to be any entries, but you get the idea. So let's say for a real world example, we have a user that says they cannot connect to a server using SSH. So as admin of that server, what you're first going to do is you're going to do sudo journalctl -u for unit, SSH, and -F to follow it for live, to follow it as it's going through. I'm gonna make this a little smaller so it all fit on one page. And then on my other screen, I'm gonna SSH into the server. And if you look over here, I'm getting invalid user and authentication password. That's because this user I'm trying to log in as doesn't exist. So because I have journalctl over here working, I know that the problem for this user is the fact that they don't have a profile on this server, not that SSH isn't working. So their failure is authentication. And to give you an example of a user that is on the server, I'll do my user. And I'm purposely doing the wrong password. And if you look over here, we have authentication failure, login name, user Bo, failed password for Bo. So you can tell that I'm doing the wrong password. This can help you immediately narrow down the problem that your end user can be having. And once you're comfortable with this, the next small step is learning how to search logs. So you can use journalctl, pipe it through grep, and I personally always use -I so that it doesn't matter if it's upper or lowercase. And then put what we're searching for inside of parentheses. And I'm just going to do error to make it simple. And this is another thing that you need to be sudo for. And this can help you quickly spot problems without having to read everything in the log file. Work through all this a few times and it will feel natural. Logs are not scary, they're just messages, and now you know how to read them calmly and correctly. If this helped, please leave a comment down below and I'll see you in the next video.